Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 20 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. For the last couple of episodes, we've been using a Luxray team, so we'll be playing one last episode with it. I've had a lot of fun with it, honestly, and it's cool to be able to feature a Pokemon that we don't get to see very often, and I honestly think this Pokemon will be really, really good going into Series 6 as well. So yeah, excited to just finish our time with it. You can learn more in the description below, and let's just get started. For the first game today, we're going up against a pretty scary team. Like, it looks rather offensive with Pokemon like Braviary, Primarina, Tyranitar, RIllaboom, but like, most of these Pokemon are decently bulky as well. Grimmsnarl can obviously enable the bulk even further through screens. I actually think Luxray looks really good here because we've got super effective Max Lightning, we've got Max Knuckle, Max Hailstorm. We hit 5 of the 6 Pokemon for super effective damage, basically. So I actually really want to prioritize Luxray in this matchup. RIllaboom's obviously a big threat. I could see my opponent leading Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl, Tyranitar, potentially. Normally the priority is to just try to set up a Tailwind with Talonflame, but I don't know if I can really lead Talonflame super easily here. I definitely want Luxray. Maybe we lead the Luxray. We could even Max Guard turn 1, or Protect turn 1. I feel like leading you won't lead RIllaboom when I have both Incineroar and Talonflame, right? So like what I want to go with is Luxray Primarina, Talonflame Terrakion in the back. Definitely make an argument for Dragapult in this one, and I think Incineroar does make a lot of sense given how many of my opponent's Pokemon are physical. Obviously shuts down the RIllaboom as well, but let's give it a try. We're going to get into the first game today. Question of the day, with Series 6 coming so soon, obviously most of the questions I've been asking recently relate to Series 6, but I'm curious which banned Pokemon you will miss specifically. For me, I think Mimikyu and Excadrill taking the hit, definitely a little unfortunate, as it's going to be Primarina and Grimmsnarl. Okay, that's not bad for us. It's actually excellent for us, because we can just go Specs Moonblast into Grimmsnarl turn 1. KO that. Question is what I want to do with Luxray. Obviously, I could just max and go for a Lightning immediately. That actually doesn't seem that bad here. Yeah. Normally, you want the Guts going, but I feel like this is such a good offensive position for us that, like, they don't even have any ground types to switch into. The only thing you can really switch into is probably the RIllaboom. There's no way you stay in with Primarina here, though, right? Maybe I should just go for regular attack. Now I'm going to Max Lightning and Moonblast. Let's see. Like, you can only get 1 screens up here right now, right? Primarina stays in, which is even better for us. So, yeah. Let's see if we can take a dub with Luxray. I could totally see my opponent going for, like, turn 1 Reflect and then Max Geyser into Luxray, which is why maybe it would have been worthwhile to switch out, but if we get a Specs Moonblast off here and just knock out Grimmsnarl, that's pretty good, because that means my opponent only gets 1 screens off, not both. Huh, okay, they actually light screen. They don't max the Primarina or switch out, which I have to say is actually maybe the last option I expected. So I wonder if Max Lightning just one-shots here. It does. Okay, that's a fantastic start to the game. This lead was, like, as good as it gets, which is why I wanted to kind of just push the go button on turn 1 and start exerting as much offensive pressure as possible. Light screen, wonder if it means Grimmsnarl can survive this. We are choice specs, right? So this will do a ton of damage. I'm thinking it survives with like 10%-ish or so. But nope, that's still 1-hit KO. Cool. I feel like I've been pretty off with my damage calcs recently, but it's been better. I'm always expecting the worst, and here we just take up a double knockout turn 1. So if you're wondering how to counter Primarina and Lapras going into Series 6, you should actually legitimately consider Luxray. Like, it is pretty good. As Incineroar comes out and Tyranitar. Yeah, that is really bad news for my opponent. Like, you get an Intimidate off here, but you can't Fake Out right now. And they went for Light Screen. So, like, all I have to do here, quite frankly, is switch Primarina out into Talonflame. I don't need Talonflame at all at this point, because I have the speed advantage anyway. Max Lightning probably doesn't one-shot the Incineroar here. So I could Knuckle instead. I don't mind doing as much damage as possible into that slot. I'm going to Max Lightning and switch out into Talonflame. Yeah, I mean, that's like a dream turn 1, right? Like, how does my opponent even come back from that? Especially because I have Terrakion in the back. Terrakion will just one-shot either of these Pokemon. I was really surprised not to see Reflect go up and to see the Light Screen instead, but I guess my opponent was probably expecting Max Primarina. That being said, given what they brought, like, no RIllaboom came out. And that's one of the beauties of this team, too, right? It's constructed in a way where you basically dissuade opponents from even bringing RIllaboom, which means Choice Specs Primarina just has such a better matchup. So, it's always one of the cool things in team building, right? Like, how do you really cover the biggest threats to, like, the Pokemon that you really want to take advantage of? So, Fake Out comes out here, but that's fine. Talonflame literally provides us no utility at this point in the game. I guess since the Tyranitar is faster, we could have gone for a Tailwind, but... Max Rockfall doesn't even do 50% to the Luxray, which I'm surprised by. We almost one-shot the Incineroar there. It's going to hang on, but that's fine, because now this next turn I can go for... I wonder if Max Knuckles enough to pick up the knockout onto it. I would think so. Because what I want to do is Tailwind Max Knuckle into that slot. But there's no reason to bother going for an attack boost, right? Like... Yeah, Terrakion just wins this at this point anyway, so I'm just going to Tailwind Max Lightning. I guess the reason to Max Knuckle there is if Incineroar actually has Protect. If you have Protect, I get the attack boost onto the Talonflame. But to be honest, I don't think my opponent has any chance of winning this after turn 1. This was Luxray just putting out big offensive pressure immediately. It was a really good Pokemon into this matchup, right? Like, regular Tyranitar just gets dunked on by Superpower there. I can't believe how little damage Max Rockfall did, though. That's kind of laughable damage. Luxray even survives another one, plus, I think, the Burn and the Sand, which is incredible. So, I think my opponent probably needed to click Reflect on turn 1 to really have a shot at this one. But, you know, this shows why lead matchups are so important in the game. We kind of won this off turn 1. And given what my opponent had in the back, given that they didn't have a RIllaboom, it would have been pretty tricky. What they needed to do is basically stall out Dynamax. So yeah, I mean, I could just Superpower Brave Bird here. And with Terrakion in the back, Dynamax ends after this turn. We just switch in, click Close Combat. So, nice. This was Luxray putting on a lot of offensive pressure right from turn 1. So, the way you want to get around a Pokemon like Luxray is basically switch out or protect turn 1, right? Even if Primarina just protects turn 1, you waste one of my max turns. In this game, the big advantage is that I got a max move off on all 3 turns, and if you're able to accomplish that with like an offensive Pokemon like this, it's able to really just carry you and, you know, take a victory. So, yeah, happy to be able to show what Luxray can really do there, and definitely an impressive showing overall by it there. So, yeah, let's just get into our next game today. And, yeah, I think going into Series 6, just as I quickly double-check something. Yeah, going into Series 6, like, I'm definitely gonna miss Excadrill. Mimikyu's a Pokemon I wanted to play a little bit more with because, like, Cinderace and Rillaboom obviously weren't going to be in the format anymore. Togekiss I really like playing with this year, although I do think Crit Kiss feels really, really powerful. Not, like, overpowered, but, you know, it's one of those Pokemon that just, like, induces a little bit more variance to the game, although I love using it, quite frankly. Our opponent's actually basically using a Series 6 team here, so people are already getting ready for the format. So let's see. You should expect to see a lot of these teams. The only thing I'm surprised by is Braviary over Talonflame, just because Talonflame makes more sense to like guarantee that Tailwind goes up. Okay. So I mean, I'll have speed control if I lead Talonflame myself, which is pretty good. I have to respect Clefable plus the Porygon-Z. I don't know. Talonflame, Terrakion? Do I even need a Tailwind with this? It means that Max Strikes, yeah, put on less pressure. I kind of like Talonflame, Terrakion. Primarina. Feels weird to not bring Dragapult here. Luxray could be really good, though. But, like, Dragapult under Tailwind just outspeeds my opponent's entire team. Yeah, I'm going to bring Dragapult this time around. I think the thing about a Pokemon like Luxray is it's really good into certain matchups, but you have to recognize when to bring it and when not to bring it, and in this case, like, I just don't think it provides me enough value. Mainly because I'm not one-shotting most things, and my opponent's putting on a lot of offensive pressure in return. With Luxray, like, you normally want to bring it if it can pick up, like, a one-hit KO, right? And in this game, I'm not sure how many Pokemon can actually accomplish that against. This is actually really good for us, too. Braviary, Clef, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic for Talonflame Terrakion, I would say. Question is whether I want to Tailwind turn 1. It's probably better just to click it to be safe, because Braviary could max here. Like, something like Tailwind Rock Slide is super safe. So, I don't mind playing it safe here turn 1. Because what I don't want to do is not Tailwind, click Brave Bird instead. Braviary survives. For example, if Braviary maxes turn 1 and just goes for like max Airstream into Talonflame, like Helping Hand max Airstream, and you KO Talonflame, not only do I get Tailwind up, but then you also have maxed and you got the speed boost on the Braviary. So because my opponent's team is so hyper offensive, all I need to do is basically outpace them, and I can easily do that with my own Talonflame and Tailwind. So yeah. And yep, they're gonna max Braviary. Okay. This is great, right? Because, like, I don't think Max Braviary scares me that much. Would have been a reason to actually bring out Luxray, I guess. But this is pretty solid for us turn 1. Yeah, we're not going to do much damage, obviously, because of Friend Guard. But I still will take this trade-off any day. And it's Follow Me, too. So Clef essentially wastes its first turn when it could have gone for something like a Helping Hand or any other attack, basically. Sing, for example. Okay, we missed Moonblast on Rock Slide on Braviary. We have not been great with connecting these Rock Slides lately, which is a little frustrating, admittedly, but that's fine. He's going to target down the Talonflame, which I'm okay with. He gives me a free switch in now. That is annoying, though, because I think if we connected that, this next turn I could go Phantasm into Clef and Rock Slide with the defense drop. I think it'd be enough to knock out the Braviary, but now I have to be a little bit more wary of that. So instead, I actually think I'm going to go out into Specs Primarina right now and Hyper Voice Rock Slide. Because even if you get another Airstream off, I'll still outspeed with Terrakion. But that is the downside of using, obviously, Rock Slide. If I had Luxray, this actually would have been a good time to go into it, because I could have brought it in and just max Lightning. And just follow Me's again. Yeah, it's not going to help out very much. Okay, Rock Slide connects this time. This Clef is really bulky. We're not going to KO with Hyper Voice, are we? Yeah, we don't. Is that a problem? We got one shot there. Okay, I didn't expect that, but I actually think that's fine. I guess this Primarina is faster and more offensive than usual. But even though we fall behind, like, I have Tailwind, and now I have the Dynamax advantage, right? So now I can just bring out the Dragapult and Phantasm Rock Slide. I don't really care about giving Braviary a Defiant Boost because I'm still faster with Terrakion. Once I Phantasm, I KO the Clef, it gets rid of Friend Guard as well, and there's the defense drop on Braviary, so all of those compounded up, and Rock Slide single target, so all that added up should be a knockout onto the Braviary. And then I still have Tailwind up for a turn, so then I can just Airstream. There's probably going to be a Dracovish in the back, but that's not much of a problem when I still have speed control. So even though my opponent's picked up 2 knockouts with Braviary, I actually really don't mind that, because this is kind of like hyper offense against hyper offense right now, and I think it favors us more. The great thing is in this position, Clef can't really do anything, because Phantasm is a guaranteed knockout even through Protect. So Phantasm Rock Slide here is a super safe play. The only problem is if we miss the Rock Slide again. So I could have gone for close combat, but I wasn't confident that was picking up the knockout here. Wasn't confident in that picking up the knockout. Alright, Clef just goes for Helping Hand. It's fine. Makes sense, though. No better play to go for. You could switch out there, but then you're eating up a Phantasm and a Rock Slide, so I think my opponent's basically hoping for a Rock Slide miss right now. So, if it misses, I mean, Braviary probably is just going for Airstream and a Dragapult. That's just going to knock us out with Helping Hand and Defiant, most likely. Even if we survive, it outspeeds us the next turn, so we really need this to hit. Okay, we connect. Nice. Perfect. Single target Rock Slide. Gets the knockout. Scary lead, for sure. But I think we're in a pretty good spot now, because we still have 2 turns of max. We still have our Focus Sash intact on Terrakion as well. I think there's one more turn of Tailwind. I actually have to double check that. But if there's one more turn of Tailwind, it should be good, especially because there should be Dracovish in the back. It's Urshifu. Urshifu talks, actually. To be honest, I probably would have preferred to see Dracovish, so this is slightly scarier, but with one more turn of Tailwind, I think we're fine. Fighting Dark here. Just trying to think what the safest play here is. Phantasm to get a defense drop. Like, I want a Phantasm close combat here into Urshifu. Yeah, I think that's fine. I guess Urshifu could protect here. Yeah, it does. Okay. But I don't think Tox is really... Oh, it's double protect. Okay, that's not... Yeah. That means we guarantee win the game now, I think. My opponent needed to protect with one and attack with the other, I think, to have a chance at this one. The reason I went for Phantasm there, by the way, is just to get the defense draw. Because now what I can do this next turn is just Phantasm into the Toxtricity, close combat into the Urshifu. And there's pretty much no way around that. Surprised not to see Dracovish in the back. I feel like Dracovish is just such a good late-game sweeper on teams like that. But now I know neither of these Pokemon are Choice Scarfed, so Phantasm is the Toxtricity super safe. I've broken a potential Focus Sash on the Urshifu as well, so I can just close combat into that. Even a crit Sucker Punch won't knock out the Dragapult here. And we know it's not Choice Banded Urshifu either. Guess it could be Life Orb, but I don't think Life Orb crit Sucker Punch even knocks us out. They don't opt for a Sucker Punch either, so we should win this. Nice. Yeah, I mean, this game just highlights how if you conserve your Dynamax advantage, and, like, we lost 2 Pokemon in the first 2 turns, essentially, right? But all of that was worth it because we got a free switch and into a Dragapult. This is why I wanted to bring Dragapult over Luxray as well. I think Luxray with this team is really good, but it is, if you're bringing it, you are probably going to want to max it most of the time. And in this game, it just didn't make that much sense to max because, once again, I don't think it's able to pick up one-hit KOs on a bunch of my opponent's Pokemon. He is really good against the Braviary, though. But one thing that's important to note is, you know, my opponent getting these Airstream boosts. Yep, Scarf Dracovish, Classic Eviolite. I mean, nothing. So this one's cool. Blizzard on the Porygon. Magnet Toxtricity, which I know a lot of players are running. Sharpbeak. That's why the Max Airstream KO'd. Okay, I was wondering how I was actually able to get the knockout there. And then, yeah, pretty standard stuff here for the most part. So I think going into Series 6, you should expect to see that team composition a lot, actually. The only thing that might be different is Talonflame. I think Talonflame will be a lot more common over Braviary, just so that you can match with speed control. Because with those kind of teams, if you get a Tailwind off, it's going to be really, really difficult to outpace. Like, your opponents are going to struggle when outpacing. So, like, Talonflame sets up the Tailwind, and then Porygon-Z, Dracovish, and Urshifu just pick up these, like, big one-hit KOs afterwards. So because my opponent had the Braviary instead, you know, it made the lead matchup a lot better. So even though we missed the Rock Slide in the beginning, it ended up being okay, fortunately. You know, I actually was thinking about, like, what Pokemon will be more common going into Series 6. We could see a resurgence in Sableye Charizard, actually, because now there's less weather, right? Less Tyranitars running around. So, like, Sableye can enable Charizard. You know, people were running this in, like, I think, what, Series 2, Series 3? So, like, Sableye Charizard, Sunny Day, just max turn 1. Does a lot of damage. So cool to see that. It's obviously a Sun hybrid here. Most of this is what I would have expected to see in like Series 2 or 3, just now with the Urshifu on the team. So like Talonflame has a lot of value here. My only fear... I mean, what I want to do here is lead Talonflame Luxray. Turn 1, double protect, and then Tailwind the subsequent turn. Primarina's still really good here, and I think Terrakions a pretty good Pokemon to bring as well. This one's tricky, though. I think, like, Venusaur is actually a pretty tough Pokemon to go up against, and I'm not really prioritizing the Fire-type Pokemon in this matchup a lot, and that might be a mistake. Like, we've played a couple games against Venusaur with this team, right? I mean, yesterday, I think Game 4 was against it, and it's close, like... it just is really bulky. Sableye Dragapult, okay. Do I mind that too much? I don't think so. You only play, I mean, now what I'm worried about anytime I see Sableye is obviously a turn 1, like, eject button stuff. The problem here is if you do fake out Phantasm into Talonflame, which I think is decently likely. That is decently likely. I mean, I want to double protect turn 1. Fake out Phantasm into Talonflame would be really bad, though, right? Because then you can just knock it out next turn. This is why, like, leading Sableye is still kind of... I'm sorry, leading Talonflame on my end might not have been the best decision. Like, Protector is really nice to block against fake outs, and if we weren't playing in a Dynamax format with max moves, it would be like a guaranteed way to get Tailwind up the subsequent turn, but the combination of Talonflame being nerfed in this generation plus max moves means that even by protecting turn 1, I am at risk of eating up a max move and then breaking the Gale Wings, which makes, unfortunately, Talonflame significantly worse than previously, but let's see. Sableye is also a really tough Pokemon to go up against in best of 1, because you just never know what 4 moves it's going to have, and you also don't know if it's going to be eject button stuff. Ah, it's weakness policy. Okay. I mean, that's not super surprising, honestly. But that could be a really big problem if Talonflame gets targeted here. Nice play. Nice play. So, like, if I, like, Tailwind Max Luxray turn 1, we're in a really good spot. But now it's looking really bad. I don't even know what we do. We could hope that my opponent messes up and, like, Wormwinds Talonflame again as I switch into Primarina, but to be honest, I think my opponent just has too much offensive pressure now going into turn 2. That was a great turn 1 play. I thought they had to respect the Tailwind a little bit there, but they had room to make that play. Because, like, even if I Tailwind, I'm not KOing the Dragapult there, so you're not at much risk. So I really like how my opponent played that, and I don't think I had a great counter lead to this, to be honest. Because I can't fake out the Sableye either. I would have needed to maybe lead Primarina Talonflame, because then at least Primarina exerts a lot of offensive pressure. But yeah, I'm going to switch out here. I just went for Ice Fang, but I feel like... Because the reason I didn't want to max is because I'm already at -1 attack. Sure, I'm burned, but I don't even KO if I max in Hailstorm. Alright, they actually taunt. There's a chance here, actually, if the Dragapult's really slow. Because then it means I can... Oh, no, but I don't even have priority anymore. Yeah, I think we just get swept by Dragapult. I could have maxed there and at least, like, Lightning, maybe, into the Sableye. I'm just thinking what I can even do here. Because I'm at -1 defense and the Dragapult's maxed out. Is there any way around this? I don't really think so. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Okay, I mean, I'm thinking I bring out Terrakion, switch Primarina out. And don't max. And basically have a late game max Primarina. I think that's our only chance, to be honest, so I think I have to go for this, yeah. Great turn 1 play by my opponent. I should have considered this self-Shadow Sneak. Like, anytime you see Sableye Dragapult, that actually should be the first thing to jump into your mind, and for some reason I didn't process that immediately. So, I didn't have enough respect for that, and that's like a game-winning play turn 1, and I think that's fantastically done on my opponent's end. Even if we Tailwind it wouldn't have, like, necessarily saved us, but at least put us in a better position. But yeah, I actually think there's pretty much no way to deny that Dragapult setup in this game, unfortunately. So I needed to lead Primarina to have a shot, I think. Well, it's not over yet, so let's not give up. There's the trick. What you got? Okay. Yeah, well done. Has my Focus Sash now as well. Eject button is useless, but with the defense drop. I mean, at least I bring in Primarina. I was hoping my opponent would, like, try to eject out Primarina there. Okay, so I'm not giving up yet because Sableye's really bad after the first couple of turns. We've seen Shadow Sneak Trick. Probably has Quash, I would think. But, like, what we can do here is protect Terrakion, max Primarina, and Starfall. Of course, Dragapult could just, like, Phantom Force. I mean, could Primarina pull off a comeback here? I actually think it could. So the question is whether I attack around the Dragapult this turn. I actually might not max either. Because what does maxing accomplish me? Accomplish here, not accomplish me. Yeah, I'm actually going to Dazzling Gleam and Protect here. Because Dragapult's not going to have much against Primarina, I could totally see Dragapult Phantom Forcing or Protecting. Okay, Taunt onto Primarina, that's fine. Let's see if it's a Phantom Force. Yeah. So, had I just maxed, and, like, maxing doesn't accomplish anything because it doesn't give us any added bulk this turn, right? So, like, what I can do this next turn is potentially max Terrakion. But I've locked myself into Dazzling Gleam. I should have Hyper Voice there, because... Yeah. Hyper Voice would have been better to lock into. Ugh. Especially with Venusaur out here. I mean, I think here I Dazzle. We don't have Blizzard, so it's not like I can Hailstorm. Dragapult's just going to one-shot Terrakion, I think, if I don't max it here. So I actually feel compelled to just Dazzle, max Rockfall. Hope that Venusaur doesn't one-shot Primarina. This is actually winnable. I mean, even if I locked myself in a Hyper Voice there, wouldn't have been enough, because then we don't knock out the Dragapult. At least we're in a position to, like, potentially win right now, whereas we were just going to get swept earlier. Dynamax Terrakion for the first time, which is pretty cool to see. I don't think it one-shots Venu, though, which is part of the problem. Yeah, there's Phantom Force. That's still so much damage. But yeah, if we don't max there, we didn't even have our Focus Sash, so I have to go for this, I think. Okay, I mean, if Venu doesn't one-shot Primarina, and we get the Dazzling Gleam off, maybe there's a chance. Oh, he actually helps for Sleep Powder. What? That's so risky. Wow. Okay. So actually, if they missed there, we would have won. Because there's no way anything in the back can take on the combination of Max Terrakion plus Primarina. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. Okay. Well, I can't do anything now, I think. You can just start. What I can hope for is a one-turn wake-up on Primarina here. So I just Max Guard. I actually also think I messed up. No. I was going to say we could have Max Strike, but that doesn't accomplish anything against Dragapult. Because it has Clear Body anyway. Alright, it's Sludge Bomb. Yeah, I don't know why my opponent Sleep Powdered there. It was Life Orb too. So it's not even like it was Wildlands. I don't know. I feel like it just makes more sense to just Leaf Storm or Sludge Bomb there. So we had a window to win if they missed there. But we would have won more off like my opponent misplay. It was Urshifu in the back. So yeah, Primarina Dazzle actually was the correct call. That's a shame. Well played though. I think they led really well. They made a great turn 1 play. I think the Sleep Powder there is really risky, which yeah, I mean, but like we would have lost if they played more optimally anyway, I think. So, and they had a fantastic lead, and they like pulled that lead all the way. So really well done there. I think I made the right plays given the circumstances, but we fell behind way too early in the lead, so I needed to probably lead the Primarina to like put on pressure against what my opponent brought. Doesn't mean we have time for a 4th game though, so let's go for that. Yeah, games like that though, it's like at least I know that actually in 25% of the times, like we actually end up just winning that game outright, which I definitely would not have expected given how bad the early game was. So, I mean, what you want to do in Pokemon, even if you're like in a really bad opening position, is like put yourself in a late game position where you could potentially win, right? But I think you don't want to ever fall behind so much like I did, and my opponent just executed their lead matchup really, really well. So, props to them for that. Okay, Colossal. We saw yesterday Let's Specs Hyper Voice just dunks on Colossal, so that's a good calc to know. I mean, we went, what, Talonflame Primarina yesterday? Seems pretty good here. I might actually want Luxray because of the Corviknight. You don't really see Corviknight on Colossal comps very often, but it actually makes a lot of sense here. I don't know, like, Dragapult's pretty good against everything bar Corviknight, but it kind of sucks against Corviknight. And this is probably going to be our last game with this team, so we'll bring Luxray. I want Incineroar, but then I'm kind of lacking on offense. I guess the alternative is Terrakion, though. Is that really that good here? Maybe we do bring Incineroar. The reason I want to... Oh, okay. That was anticlimactic. Scratch that. Probably just their Wi-Fi DC. Alright, we'll play an actual 4th game now. The reason I wanted to bring in Incineroar there was because I think Intimidate's really valuable against RIllaboom. Once again, if you watch the Players' Cup finals, like, RIllaboom is really, really dang good against Primarina. So at least I have Intimidate for RIllaboom. Although if it's Choice Band RIllaboom, to be honest, that's not even doing enough. Alright, getting into our last game, and this is one heck of a team to close things out against. Crawdaunt. And Hawlucha as well. Very cool. And Ninetales. I mean, it's just, everything's cool. A lot of bulky stuff, though. Like, Grimmsnarl P2 Arcanine is like a really, really defensive core here. It's going to be kind of tough to break through, actually. Especially, like, there's 2 Pokemon that can set up screens, right? Hawlucha is interesting, though, because there's no natural terrain. I think Specs Primarina looks really good as a lead here, because even with Light Screen up, like, it can still one-shot things, especially against Grimmsnarl, as we saw. Primarina... I don't know. Primarina Luxray is interesting. Primarina, Luxray... okay, one thing I should respect is the potential Porygon lead and, like, a Crawdaunt under Trick Room. That seems pretty scary. That does seem pretty scary. Maybe I go with Terrakion Primarina then, because then I pressure close combat Moonblast turn 1. Sure. Luxray in the back with Incineroar. Okay. Might be questionable not to bring Talonflame, but the thing about Talonflame into a matchup like this is that we don't necessarily need to outspeed our opponent with Tailwind, because we might just naturally be faster anyway. And part of the problem is that Talonflame doesn't do enough damage. And because my opponent's team is really bulky, I kind of need all the offense I can get. Hawlucha Arcanine. Okay, this is like the one reason that brought Talonflame, but I think Primarina's Terrakion's still not bad here. Specs Primarina looks really good. Even max it, but I don't know if I want to immediately. Let's see. I mean, I could just Rock Slide Hyper Voice here, honestly. That does not seem that bad. Like, Luxray in the back is really good once we get rid of Arcanine for the Intimidate. Rock Slide Hyper Voice covers any switch out as well. Only question, I mean, if this is like offensive Arcanine with Max Lightning, that's my one fear. Like, maybe Primarina goes down here to a double up. Hawlucha is interesting, though. I've only really seen that with teams like with Terrain, because you obviously combo with Unburden and a Seed. So to not see that is interesting. And it even switches out, which I'm fine with. There's no way Primarina's going down here turn 1. P2 comes in, but it's going to be eating up a lot of damage here. Download will give it a attack boost as well, so that's good. Man, we just can't hit Rock Slides with this Terrakion. I hit the Arcanine at least, though, which is nice. He's probably Snarling. Actually, Will-O-Wisps. Okay, that makes sense. I think what my opponent is probably going for is Crawdaunt under Trick Room based off how they played that, so... Since Will-O-Wisp came out, to be honest, I don't think that Rock Slide miss on Porygon really makes much of a difference. Actually, it might have done enough where another, like a close combat into Hyper Voice KOs, but I can't say for sure. Either way, though, that's a great turn 1. Like, my opponent traded Arcanine and 40% of damage on Porygon just to get a burn on Terrakion. That might be worth it on their end, though, because I can see what they're going for, which is just setting up Trick Room. But where's their offense? It's Ninetales. Okay, I did not expect that, because, like, I thought with this team, you had to have, like, Crawdaunt in the back or something. Huh. Now, that's really interesting. Because I have Luxray in the bag. I'm content to just click another Hyper Voice here. That's going to do a lot. Question is whether I want a Quick Attack here, expecting Moonblast. I think it's fine to just Rock Slide Hyper Voice, to be honest. Terrakion won't go down unless you Moonblast that slot. And yeah, it's Aurora Veil going up. Okay. So it's going to be Porygon 2 and Hawlucha, which doesn't really have that much inherent synergy. Flinch here might also just end the game, but it's going to do so little damage to Porygon. Yeah, it's like 5%. But Specs Hyper Voice will still do around like 50% of Ninetales. Yep. Yeah, it's just Thunderbolt coming out. Huh. Okay. No paralysis. That's good. This has been a weird game. Did not expect it to play out the way it has so far, but I'll take it. Okay. I've got Instant Luxray in the back. Luxray will dunk on what my opponent has in the back, so honestly here, I think it's fine to just click Hyper Voice and Rock Slide. I don't even know if, like, Freeze Dry KOs Primarina. They don't have Freeze Dry, they actually have Dazzling Gleam, but that's fine. That doesn't KO either Pokemon. I mean, I'm kind of playing just click my spread moves right now, but there's not much reason not to be honest. Does Porygon Trick Room here? Like, Trick Room would be weird. We actually do enough damage to Porygon where after a Hail, I think Quick Attack knocks out. It goes for Recover, though, which I think is the correct call. Okay. I mean, my opponent's kind of stalling out their own turns of screens. I'm taking, you know, a bunch of residual damage right now, but I still have Luxray and Incineroar in the back. Let's see what I want to do here. I think we just wait for the free switching into Luxray and Incineroar. Like this turn I can just Hyper Voice Close Combat, I think. Yeah, that seems fine. I mean, I could also switch Primarina out into Incineroar. That might make some sense. I don't mind that, actually. I think conserving Primarina could have some value and close combat into Porygon. Especially because... Well, I was going to say if my opponent Trick Rooms, but Primarina's just going to get Thunderbolted by Porygon anyway, I guess. A flinch also would have just ended this game a lot sooner, but yeah, I can't complain about that. That is where I guess if we hit that Rock Slide earlier, like, Porygon would have fainted. But then they probably would have just clicked Recover earlier instead of Thunderbolt. Either way, though, Intimidating against the Hawlucha is really good. I don't know, I just... Seeing Hawlucha here is interesting. I want to figure out what item it has. It doesn't... Oh, it's going to Swords Dance here, I think. Oh. That actually could be a problem because I didn't stay in. I didn't consider Swords Dance. Oh, man. I'm not that concerned about it, given that I have the Luxray in the back, but maybe I should be more concerned. That Thunderbolt does no damage, though, which is good. I think Terrakion faints here, which means free switching into Luxray, which is also good. Yeah. Nice Swords Dance, though. That would have been a reason to Hyper Voice. That's the one thing I didn't consider. I should have Hyper Voice then, because the Hyper Voice there would have just won the game, probably. I mean, I can still go out into Luxray. I don't think Hawlucha can one-shot us. So I'm not that worried about it, to be honest. I mean, I want to fake out Max Lightning here into Porygon. Prevents it from attacking. Sets up the terrain for Luxray. And then I can swap an Incineroar out and back in. Nice decision, though, to go for the Swords Dance. That was their only... If you're running Swords Dance, though, what? I would think Swords Dance Protect, Airstream Knuckle. So, like, you can only Knuckle the Luxray at best. I don't think that does that much damage to us. I slept on the Swords Dance, though. Like, if I Hyper Voice there, I get a free switch in into the Incineroar, so then I can fake out the Porygon, get a free switch in. It just would have been a free Hyper Voice. Like, it wouldn't have knocked out either Pokemon because screens are still up, but it would have been better than what I ended up going for. Would it have been better to go for Knuckle here instead of Lightning? I guess it does give an attack boost onto the Incineroar. Okay. So we're in this late game situation now. Hawlucha does, I think, outspeed everything we have. I'm guessing Fake Out Lightning KOs Porygon after Hail damage, but... Actually, Hail's ending soon, too, right? So let's see. It also could be Knuckle into Incineroar, which I wouldn't mind, because then we should just one-shot the Hawlucha afterwards. Yep, there's Knuckle. Yeah, it is into Incineroar. Okay. I don't mind that trade, honestly. Because even at +2 attack, like, Max Knuckles don't do that much damage. Maybe I'm underestimating Hawlucha right now, though. I thought I had this locked up, but this late game Hawlucha could actually provide, or end up being kind of a scare here. But, like, now I'm Electric Terrain is up and I'm burned, so I'm pretty sure Max Lightning should just one-shot Hawlucha. And Porygon actually managed to hang on, but yeah, I was thinking after Hail, we should be good. Yeah, I had like 1 HP there. Okay, nice. So we've set up the terrain now. I'm burnt. You're at +2 attack, but I don't think a +2 Max Knuckles KOing Luxray. So now we just bring in Primarina and click Moonblast Max Lightning. Scarier game than it needed to be, though, I can't help but think. I mean, we haven't won yet either. Maybe a crit just KOs us. Let me just double check. Last turn of Aurora Veil, +2 attack. Last turn of Hail as well. Yeah, and there's no reason not to Max Lightning and Moonblast here. Hawlucha will get a knockout onto... I mean, we'll see. I think you have to Knuckle into the Luxray here and hope for a crit. And maybe I'm just underestimating how much a +2 Max Knuckle does against Luxray, but I don't think it's a one-hit KO. Mainly because Max Knuckle's base power is just so reduced, right? Okay, they actually go for a Max Guard. Makes sense. Stall to turn to my terrain. You get a little bit more chip damage through the burn as well. Although if you're not Light Clay on the Ninetales, you just lost your own Aurora Veil, so I don't know. Let's see. Ah, it is Light Clay. Interesting. Yeah, well, that makes sense then. Might as well get some chip damage. I'm still going to go for the same play, obviously. Okay, let's see. Here's Max Knuckle. So that's probably into Luxray, right? No, it actually targets Primarina. Alright, well, maybe I'm underestimating Hawlucha's bulk. Like, screens are up, but I would still think this KOs with the terrain and the burn, but maybe not. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, I was like, there's no way it's not enough, right? Like, this is Luxray we're talking about, dude. Alright, nice. That was closer than I really felt like it needed to be, though. And that's because I let the Hawlucha get a Swords Dance off. So if I had just stayed in with Primarina and Hyper Voice, I think that would have been better. Because Incin plus Luxray closes out this game completely. If I get that Hyper Voice chip damage too, then the Hawlucha is basically in KO range from pretty much anything that we can go for afterwards with any max move. But fortunately enough, the Fake Out Max Lightning plus Hail was enough to KO the Porygon. That was the setup I was going for, so then I can just one-shot the Hawlucha the subsequent turn. So, yeah. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the Luxray team as well. I think it was really fun. And honestly, a lot of the losses we had with this team were really close as well. And I feel like I could have played better in those as well. And I think hopefully this puts Luxray on your radar going into Series 6. Because I think it's a really interesting Pokemon that actually has a lot of utility. And can do even better in Series 6 now that, you know, Primarina and Lapras are going to be a lot more common. So, yeah. That's going to be it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And I will see you guys next time. Alright. Peace.